Hi everyone. Today I am going to do the revision from the chapter Genetics 5. That genetics is the branch of biology in which we deals with the study of inheritance and variation. And when we discuss about genetics, we have to discuss about Gregor Johann Mendel, because he was honored as the father of genetics. He has contributed his ideas, and that has given him the honor, or given him the title father of genetics. He was born in Margraviate of Moravia, which is a Silesian part of Austrian Empire. Now it is coming under Czech Republic state. And he was a very good educator, well versed in mathematics as well as in biology. And he joined as a priest, and as a part of his monasterian experience, he cultivated the plants in his backyard of his abbey, and there he conducted the experiment on pea plant, and all these findings what he from his experience he has noted down, and he concluded with many principles and postulates his theory. And he was not framed any laws, but even then all his studies he recorded, and he adopted a method that is mathematical as well as statistical, and he recorded all the numerical terms in his journal. But it was not published. He was published that one in a local journal, but during that time he was not getting that much of attention, because the whole entire world was busily working with the principles of Charles Darwin, because that time only he came forward with the famous theory, that is the origin of species by natural selection. That time many scientists, even though they have seen the work of Mendel, but they couldn't identify the great work behind that findings, because he was a very good mathematician, and his mathematical approach as well as the statistical presentation was not acceptable to that time the scientists. We can say he was ahead of his time, and his findings also he has recorded in numerical values, which was also not familiar at that time. So all these factors made him unnoticed about his work, and he was conducted series of experiments, and he has changed his species plant also, but even though it was not came out successful at that time, but he ended his life as a very desperate man, because he was not getting any recognition. In spite of that, he got all the negligence and lack of attention from his field, and he died. After his death, 35 years after that, the three scientists from different parts of the world, that is Eric von Schamarck, Hugo de Vries, and Carl Correns, and Williams Jasper, all they were doing similar experiments in different plants, and they came forward with the same conclusions what Mendel did long back. So they took all his papers, and they reframed it, and they restructured, and his postulates were named after him as the law of Mendel. So the law of Mendel is actually not framed by Mendel, but it was framed by his succeeders, and honored him as, and it was republished in a new journal, and which was very famous. That time the whole scientific world concentrated on his work, and they found out that Mendel did all these postulates without any microscope and all, because in his time there was no microscope, there was no discovery of nucleus, there was no discovery of chromosomes and genes at all. At that time he predicted about the presence of inheritance units, now we will call it as genes. So they honored him and gave him the title as the father of genetics. Now we will go through the profile of gene scientist, that is Jean Baptiste Gregor Mendel. And this is a picture of Gregor Johann Mendel, and this is his profile. Gregor Johann Mendel, that is 1882 to 1884, and he was recognized as the founder of genetics, or we can say the father of genetics. And he has done his experiment in pea plant, and he conducted this one around 6 or 7 years, and then he published in his book, and later it was recognized by the scientist, recognized by in the journal. Then when we move to the next one, that is a brief history of his studies. He started his experiment in garden pea, Pisum sativum, and he presented the paper, that is 1856 he started. Approximately after 10 years he presented his paper in Experiments on Plant Hybridization, that is in National Science Society. And till 1900 it was unattended and unappreciated, but later his successors republished in a famous journal that is called as Flora in 1901. And 3 scientists from different parts of the world, that is Eric von Schemark from Australia, and he was conducting his experiments individually in flowering plants, whereas Hugo de Vries from Holland, and he was conducted his experiment in Inothera lamarckiana, primrose, evening primrose we'll call it. Then the third person, that is Karl Korens from Germany, he has conducted his experiment, Senia, pea and maize. So all they came forward with the similar experiments, similar results what he has done. Then to honor him, they restructured all his findings and made in such a way, that is 3 laws. They framed it in 3 laws as law of Mendel, and they republished. The entire world got the recognition from that. Then when we move on to his experiment, what makes him stands out from the rest, because already I said his studies were very systematic, and he selected the pea plant. And why he selected the pea plant means it was very easy to conduct cross pollination. At the same time it is very easy to conduct the self pollination, because they are following the vexillary type of aestivation, the keel petal, then wing petal, then the standard petal. So always the keel petal will cover the sex organs, so the chances of contamination from external sources, or contamination of pollen grains from external sources, will be rare. And at the same time, if you open the flower, then it is easy for us to conduct the cross fertilization with the help of any brush or any other equipments. We can dust it on very easily on that one. Then the second one, so he selected that flower, and it is the flower is very easily distinguishable. Then the second one, why he opted for this one means the lifespan. Pisum sativum, or the pea plant or garden pea plant, we'll say, it is having only around 6 months lifetime only. So within that 6 months they'll produce flowers, they'll produce many seeds, and the flower itself is of bisexual. That means both male and female flowers will be there. So in a single generation itself, many seeds can be raised. So many, the inheritance of characters in the next generation very easy for him to study. Then the next aspect, so all these aspects made him to choose pea plant. And apart from that, there are many contrasting characters also. P were showing many contrasting characters. So what do you mean by contrasting characters? Means the characters which oppose each other. So he selected 7 contrasting characters for his experiments. That is, these are what is given in the chart. These are the 7 characters. So he selected the seed shape in which 2 contrasting characters were there. That is round seed as well as wrinkled seed. Then the next one, it is seed shape, seed color, that is yellow and green. Then flower color, that is purple or violet, we'll say, against white. Then the next one, it is pod shape, again, which is in 2 forms, that is full or constricted. And the pod shape, pod color, which is green as well as yellow. Then flower position, it is axial and terminal. Then the last one, it is stem height, which is tall and dwarf. So these were the 7 characters he studied for his experiment. That is, all these characters made him to select the pea. So once again I'll repeat, he has selected the pea plant because they shows contrasting characters, and it was easy for self as well as cross fertilization, and they shows short lifespan, that is maximum of 6 months. So many generations within short span of time he was able to study. Then each plant or each flower, after fertilization, it will be able to produce many seeds. So in a single generation itself, the inheritance patterns can be studied. Then the last one, it contained, or he selected 7 contrasting characters, and all the 7 contrasting characters what he selected, and he later found out there was only 7 pairs of chromosome. It was located within, because the pea plant contained only 7 pairs of chromosomes. So with this I am concluding. This is only a demo. So hereafter, whenever I am free, I will send you the small portions of, or little bit of portions of revision work, and if you feel that it is helpful to you, you can refer this. Okay, thank you.